Our childhoods are a time of critical development. These formative years shape the types of people that we become later in life. Kids have underdeveloped brains that are constantly growing and absorbing new information. They also lack experience. The information and experiences that they gain should be positive ones. When it comes to forming a human mind, there's nature and then there's nurture. Personalities are built over time, but we all start with a sort of base personality in the form of temperament. We're all born with our own temperament, and it's partially influenced by genetics. I believe that nurture trumps nature every time. Our fully formed psyches are comprised of experiences, connections, and environments. Proper human interactions and teachings are paramount. Think about what your childhood was like and how that built you up. There's positives and negatives that surely affect you today. Regardless of who you are, we're always capable of change, positive change, whether that be changing ourselves or changing others. Put simply, be nice to kids. They have a lot of growing to do. Welcome to Games for Healing, a web series where we take a look at video games dealing with mental health, life lessons, and life struggles. Here's a game that you probably haven't heard of. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia article. I found it in a bargain section at Walmart. Upon reading the back of the box, I thought it would be fitting for this series. If you look it up online, most of the results will be about the much better game Little Nightmares instead. Definitely flew under the radar. In Nightmare is a horror game about childhood trauma, brought to the world in 2022 by Chinese developer Beijing Magic Fish Technology. It's a rated T game, so there's none of the extremes that you'd find in an M-rated horror game like excessive violence and gore. Think of it like something such as Little Nightmares or even Five Nights at Freddy's. These games all create fear and scares without ever resorting to things that younger players really shouldn't be seeing. In Nightmare features the main character, a boy named Bill. His childhood wasn't the best. This kid has been put through the ringer. The entire game takes place within a nightmare, as the name would suggest. Bill is in a coma. I feel that most games would be subtle and cryptic about revealing the main character being in a coma, possibly saving it as a big reveal. This game puts it front and center. There's less to think about and speculate over because of that, but it does let the writers attempt to flesh out the idea from the very start. You'll regularly be reminded that Bill is in a coma and that he's got some mental issues brought about through trauma, whether that be through real-world diary entries and documents somehow found within the nightmare, or through little flashbacks. What you see is what you get. The plot is incredibly blunt. It's easy to miss story details, as most of it is told through the collectibles you'll be finding throughout the experience. Some are in plain sight while plenty are hidden. Just always keep an eye out for papers. I didn't collect everything, and this game doesn't have a Wikipedia page or any guides. There aren't any plot summaries out there for reference. I can't fill in the holes of what I missed. For reasons I'll get into later, I won't be playing the game a second time. What I gauge is that Bill's parents didn't treat him quite right. His father had an attachment to the bottle. His parents went through a messy divorce. At several points we see doctor's notes mentioning major depressive disorder. At another point it's said that Bill started seeing things that weren't really there. He was bullied endlessly at school. His mother died in a car accident, and Bill believes himself to be the reason that she died. He had to stay at his uncle's house for a while but never felt welcome. At some point, Bill runs away into a wintry night and is found unconscious. We can assume this is the beginning of his coma. If you've played this game, feel free to mention anything that I missed. There will be real-world locations to visit and explore based on Bill's memories. Human figures from his life will take the forms of monsters that will chase you. Some of these include Bill's mother, his alcoholic father, and school bullies. All of these monster designs are great. What really makes them stand out is their voice acting and sound design. I don't know whether to laugh with her because she thinks something's funny or to be terrified. I assume that's Bill's mother. This other monster could also be Bill's mother. She has a scary face boob. I assume that's supposed to be some sort of maternal metaphor. This guy is most certainly Bill's father. The many eyes imply that he's always watching. The hulking monsters that represent Bill's bullies are also covered in eyeballs. Other enemies in this game include other eyeball creatures, spooky trees, and a spider. I always admire meticulously crafted environments in games, especially buildings with specific pieces of furniture. In Nightmare does a decent job making indoor locations look unique. There's lots of visual variety in outdoor areas too. The atmosphere is on point. Another thing I always enjoy in games are hub areas, especially ones that change over the course of your journey. There's a bunch of stuff you can unlock in this hub area, like new outfits, a music player, and trophies. You can collect concept art too. The art in this game is really charming, especially the drawing shown during the credits. I wouldn't call In Nightmare scary or anything. It can certainly be spooky. The chase segments are pretty stressful. So are the stealth sections, which they should be. Those are all of the positive things I have to say about In Nightmare. Gameplay-wise, it had a decent first impression, but a lot of the game feels like a chore. There are so many ideas on display here and so much potential, but unfortunately In Nightmare doesn't do any of them particularly well. You'll spend the majority of the game either running from monsters, hiding from monsters, solving puzzles, or exploring to find collectibles and ability upgrades. Dying often feels cheap and like trial and error, and not the satisfying trial and error that makes you feel good. Enemies kill you instantly and you'll have to redo sections if you get caught. Checkpoints are fairly generous. The worst part is how while you're being chased, the visuals distort a bit, making finding your way around even more disorienting. Platforming sections feel a bit clunky. Puzzles often feel either blandly basic or tiringly tedious. This section with 10 Rubik's Cubes in particular was just too much for me. Puzzles that involve moving things or throwing things feel sluggish due to how slow Bill's actions are. There are some technical issues like frame rate difficulties and stuttering. I played on PS4, I can only assume that the PS5 version runs a bit better. During one of the game's few boss fights, I got soft-locked out of beating the boss twice. The boss entirely disappeared, leaving me to wander the arena endlessly looking for her. I had to reset the game twice to get her to stick around instead of saying peace out after taking a single hit. The game randomly crashed during one of the chase sequences. Crashes happen, but it wasn't helping with my impressions. You have this little spirit butterfly friend with special abilities like making invisible things visible or scouting faraway areas for monsters or items. These abilities run on meters that you can't actually see. They have to be filled up with replenishing items that you'll find by exploring. The game is very generous with these items. It's annoying though, never knowing when you'll run out of your abilities and when you'll have to stop and use an item. It just slows an already slow game down. The top-down perspective combined with how dark things can be makes finding your way around difficult sometimes due to depth perception. The areas are big and easy to get lost in. The reason I managed to get through the game is because there's a hint system that shows you where to go if you press up on the D-pad. It'll remind you of your objective and show a trail of footprints going in the right direction. Cutscenes always have that hold button to skip prompt at the bottom. I feel that only needs to be said once and kind of breaks the immersion being there all the time. Every time you're met with a new thing to do, your objective is shown in the form of text. I feel like this should be something that's purely shown when the player prompts it instead. That way they can at least attempt to figure it out themselves instead of being immediately bluntly told what to do. There are multiple endings to the story and a true final boss. I got the bad ending where Bill doesn't wake up from his coma. From what I've read, if you want the ending where he wakes up, you'll have to comb through all the levels and get enough collectibles to meet the criteria. Playing this game once is enough for me, so I'll leave it at that. It does have replay value if you actually fully enjoy the game and want to go back. Admittedly, my patience with it may have been thin due to the fact that I played it while having a bad case of the flu. It's a budget title, costing much less than the average game on store shelves. The play length is about 7 to 12 hours. Ultimately, it's not a horrible game, it's just disappointing. It has so much potential. Trailers and screenshots make it look a lot better than it actually is. The concept alone of exploring childhood trauma is fascinating. The story isn't exactly told gracefully, but I got the gist of it. Visually, the game does a great job, especially with its monsters and dark landscapes. It looks good, a smooth blend of creepy and cartoony, easily what it does best. The music was forgettable, but it does the job in the moment and fits the situations. Have you ever played a game and everything looks and sounds right, but the gameplay just feels kinda cheap? That's the gut feeling I had while playing In Nightmare. If you want to play a T-rated horror game, you're probably better off playing Little Nightmares. I wouldn't exactly recommend In Nightmare unless it truly does fascinate you and you want to analyze the story and pick apart what exactly makes the gameplay fall flat. It's a game you need to be patient with. To end this off, I have 2 pieces of advice for you. Number 1, play video games. They're pretty rad. Number 2, be nice to people, especially children. If you're mean to them, who knows, you might just start showing up in their nightmares. If you know childhood pain, then it should be in your best interest to never inflict that on anyone else. Break the cycle. Until next time, I'll see you later. Stay strong out there.